Today we will be looking into Oracle. Oracle is a database. Let me explain you what this database is. As you are from account background, you might have used several times the Excel sheet to store data. So Excel sheet is a good mode of storing the data. If you observe the Excel sheet, it contains all the rows and columns. So every cell over there would be labeled. You are going to store the data in the form of table, that is rows and columns. Here in Oracle also, the data is stored in tabular format. So data is stored in as the data is stored in tabular format, it is easy to retrieve the data from database, then manipulate the data, insert the data, and data can be securely stored in one particular repository. Here database is also known as repository of information, that is information or data. As I told you, inserting data, then retrieving data, then modifying data. So modifying may be changing, editing, deleting the data becomes easy. Okay, I told you that inserting, retrieving, and then modifying would be easy. How will we do that? We need some programming language to do such a kind of inserting data into the database, retrieve data, modify data. So we need some programming language here. So programming language. The well-suited programming language here is SQL. SQL is also known as SQL. SQL, SQL. If we expand that, it is structured query language. So we are going to explore this SQL, structured query language. Here SQL is SQL, then pl-sql. So here SQL stands for structured query language. This is a language which is used to insert data into database, retrieve data from database, then modify the data that is present to the database. pl-sql is applying the programming language concepts to this SQL. That is an extension to SQL, enhancement to SQL. As programming language concepts are added to this SQL, then writing programs which will manipulate the data present in the database would be easier. Here in market we have several databases. Examples I am giving you here. Examples. As you know, Oracle is database. Here Oracle is a RDBMS. Let me explain this. So relational database management system. We are going to learn database that RDBMS. R stands for relational. That is, I told you that data is stored in the form of tables. Every table has rows and columns. With Oracle, as it is a relational database management system, we can establish the relationship between those tables. So parent-child relationships, primary key, foreign key relationships. We will be exploring more about these relationships in our upcoming sessions. For now, you just remember that Oracle is RDBMS, Relational Database Management System, where you can establish a relationship between the tables. Tables are the entities where you are going to store some data into them in the form of rows and columns. So I was telling you some examples. So Oracle, likewise SQL Server. This SQL Server is from Microsoft Corporation. Likewise DB2 from IBM. DB2 is also an RDBMS. Likewise MySQL. This MySQL is also from Oracle environment. That is Oracle Corporation, I say. Oracle Corporation. And here a thing to be highlighted, MySQL is an open source product. It means it can be freely downloadable on internet and readily used. You don't need to pay for license to use this MySQL. So likewise Ingress, Teradata, Sybase. So all these are examples of relational database management systems, RDBMS. Every database, I mean to say every RDBMS here has SQL in it. That is structured query language. So structured query language is the language that is used to communicate with databases. Now we will be exploring into the prerequisites to learn the Oracle course. So let me open a Word file. Look there are prerequisites. That is, to learn Oracle, you need to have some knowledge on these things. Operating system, maybe Unix, or you might be using Windows environment or Linux environment. So knowledge about operating system. Language, basic knowledge about C programming language. As you don't have C programming language, we will move little, I mean to say, in a way that you would be following all the topics whichever I am delivering. Then RDBMS. So RDBMS concepts. So what this relational database management system is and what the concepts are. I'll explain you what these are soon in this session itself. So here RDBMS examples I have just listed over there. Oracle SQL Server. You can see here operating system. Generally what we do with operating system. Operating system is an interface between the user who is operating and the actual hardware present in it. Then operating system insulates the other parts of the system from user. Then operating system is also called as layer of software. That is collection of several programs. Operating system is foundation for application development. I mean, you can develop applications, web applications, enterprise applications, desktop applications, if you observe, this Word file which I have opened is also an application. The notepad what we have in our computer, you can see start menu, notepad. I am just opening that notepad. This notepad is also an application. An application is nothing but software. It is nothing but, again, if you say generically, it is a program, set of instructions, some codes. So this notepad is also an application. I have maximized this notepad now. Now I am minimizing it and getting back to the Word file. Here it in the sense operating system is foundation for application development. So here you can develop such notepad, softwares, Word files on this platform, that is operating system. Under operating system there are various classifications. Character based operating system. I don't know whether you have gone through this character based operating system. Let me list out the examples over there. MS-DOS is an example for character based operating system. That is Microsoft DOS Disk Operating System, we call DOS stands for Disk Operating System. On your machine, if you are having Windows environment, I am just showing you the DOS prompt. So Windows, look there, I am just opening the command prompt, we call it as. If you observe over there, it is displaying the C drive and the logged in username. Can you see the black screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes. Can you see the screen now?
Yeah, I can see it.
If you observe over there, there is a letter C here, which denotes a C drive. In a computer, there may be C, D, E drives. So currently it is pointing to the drive where operating system is located. C drive, you can observe here. Now I would like to move to D drive. I have to give a command here, D:. Look there, at command prompt, you need to provide a command to work with. So you hit the enter key and observe over there, now it is showing the D drive, right?
Yes.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes. So in D drive, what are the folders available? If you want to list out, then you need to give a command directory, dir directory. And you can see there are folders like my new folder, party, personal, photo, some bin. Let me show you that in Windows environment. Start, computer. You can observe here D drive. Open this D drive. Can you see the folders here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 folders.
Yes.
So the same folders are being displayed on that command prompt. Isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. At the command prompt, you need to give commands to perform any task. So this is the character user operating system. Character user interface, we can say. So DOS, that is this operating system, has an interface called character user. Whereas Windows environment, it is graphical user. You can see, you can use a mouse and operate this computer. Double click on my computer icon, it opens and it lists all the drives available. And if you double click on D drive, you can see the 5 folders over there. So operating in Windows environment, that is graphical user interface environment, is easier compared to DOS mode, that is disk operating system mode. In disk operating system mode, you need to remember every command to perform a task. Whereas in GUI environment, it is easier to operate with mouse. Drag and drop facility is available in Windows environment. So copy paste, everything is easy. I believe you might have used those Word, Excels, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Opening the Excel, opening the file, compose some contents, copy that contents and paste into another file. So those are very easier tasks in GUI operating systems because we use a mouse and work. Whereas with the CUI, that is character user interface, it is little tough because you need to memorize all those commands. So let me back to Word file. So here you can see one is character user operating system. Another example for a character based operating system is Unix. Linux also has that mode, that is character based operating system mode, that is character user interface mode. Linux has both the versions, that is GUI version and CUI version also. You can see the next classification, that is GUI based operating system. So GUI based operating systems are Windows. So Windows 95, 98. I have listed out the examples here. So the current Unix also has this GUI based environment. And you can observe Linux I have listed here. Linux has both CUI and GUI mode. Solaris, HP Unix, all these are examples of GUI based operating system. Then single user operating system, that is only one user can log into the operating system. At a time, multiple users cannot operate that particular operating system parallelly. Multi-user operating system there are, which allows multiple users to operate simultaneously, concurrently. So the examples are Windows NT, Windows 2000, Windows 2003, XP, Unix. So these are the multi-user operating systems. Then languages. So I told you the prerequisites. One is operating system, second is language. So you need to have some knowledge on this machine level language. This machine level language contains zeros and ones. We call them as binary digits, zeros and ones. The computers do not understand our English language. Whatever we type, compose, save, all those things are translated into zeros and ones, and then they are getting saved onto the disk. So here machine level language, then low level language. So low level language example is assembly level language. Like C programming, assembly level language was the older languages. It is used to directly communicate with the hardware. That is our hardware in a computer, like the memory, then RAM, ROM, processor. So this assembly level programming language is used to communicate with these hardware devices. Then high level language, C programming. So C programming is a high level language. Why we call it as high level? Because it is having advanced features and it supports application development. For example, the Unix operating system is built on C programming language. So C programming language is used to construct Unix operating system. Likewise, I told you SQL, that is structured query language. It is written in C programming actually. C programming is a very strong. So C language is a robust language. It is strong language. Then fourth generation language. So in languages there are generations, first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation. So the SQL whichever we are going to learn is a fourth generation language. Then the next topic is file. So files, that is maybe a Microsoft file or Notepad, generally are used to represent the information. So this information represented in stream of bytes or characters. So here you are well versed with the characters. That is, you type some, suppose you type your biodata in a Word file. Over there you are going to type the characters. Whereas what these bytes represents. Suppose if you copy an image and paste into a Word file and then save that particular Word file, then that image is stored in bytes format. So bits and bytes are the smallest measuring units of memory. Then this file is managed by the operating system. Operating system has a program called file system. File system will actually handle the file operations like opening the file, compose the file, edit the file, delete the file. So all these are operations associated with file. Disadvantages of using files. So suppose you are using files like Microsoft Word or Excel or in Notepad to store the information. Certain disadvantages with these files. We are exploring those disadvantages. You can see there is no data type support. Data type. Let me explain you what the data type is. VDB, then rational numbers, that is numbers with a decimal point. In characters, again we have classification like a single character, then group of characters, that is strings we call them as. So here we have various types of data. Those types of data support is not available with the files, whereas with the databases like Oracle, SQL Server, we can address the type of the data that we are going to store. We will be exploring those types of data in our upcoming sessions. Then the other disadvantage, it will not support error handling. So here error handling is a mechanism. For example, in programming, I have written a program. That program will open abc.document, that is a Word file with abc as a name from D drive. It opens, I mean to say my program opens a file from D drive, composes some data, then stores the data. Now in this scenario, I run the program every day in the morning hours. That program will open the data, add some data and save that data. Assume your friend has deleted the file from D drive. Now I try to run the program. My program is trying to find that particular file. As it is deleted, it cannot find that file in that location. During that time, some exception occurs. Exception or error occurs. That is, file is not found. So the programming language should support such error handling or exception handling so that it will communicate a message to the user that so and so file is not available in that particular location. If we don't have that error handling or exception handling mechanism, then the program gets hanged. It continuously tries to search for that particular file and it never finds because that file is not available. So error handling or exception handling is not available with the files, that is storing data in those files. Then memory allocation is not dynamic. So dynamic in the sense, suppose I need 2 GB of memory, then immediately 2 GB is assigned to me by the operating system. Suppose I need 4 MB, then 4 MB of memory is assigned to me. So such a dynamic allocation is not possible with files. Then data retrieval manipulation is very slow. That is, opening a file, getting the data, then editing the data, then saving the data is slow compared to relational databases. Then they provide very poor security. These files which have information in it are providing poor security compared to databases. Then it cannot be shared with multiple users and multiple platforms. This is also a drawback. So sharing is not possible with these files. If it is possible also, it is little complex compared to databases. Then supports limited information only. Then retrieving the file fields is time-taking process. So from files, retrieving the information is time-taking process compared to the data that is present in databases. Now look there, we are talking about the database. I have been telling you database is a repository of information. So database, we have a database management system, that is a program in database that will organize the data, store the data, retrieve the data, manipulate the data. So database is collection of information stored in one particular place. Then data is nothing but raw material. So when we talk about data and information, data represents raw material, information represents processed data. So let me explain you this processed data and raw data. For example, as you are from account background, let me give an example from the same field. Salary of an employee comprises house rent allowance, that is HRA, DA, traveling allowance, medical allowance, so all these things. So here all these things are stored in database individually, HRA, DA, TA for each employee. Now if you need to calculate the net salary and gross salary of particular employee, you will be applying some formula. So based upon the organization, you will be applying some formula to calculate the net salary and gross salary. And finally you come out with some figures, net salary and gross salary. So that calculated figures are representing the information, whereas in the raw material. So whenever you apply some formula and process the data, it becomes the information. And you can see here, so network model. So database model here, just a minute. Yes, data is nothing but raw material. Now let us look into database models. So database models, there are various models of databases. Hierarchical model, we call them as HDBMS, Hierarchical Database Management System. Likewise, network model, Network Database Management System. Then relational model. We are going to explore this relational model in detail. We will be using this relational model in our entire upcoming sessions. So what is hierarchical model? It is a way of storing data. You can see this hierarchical model is developed in 1960s. Then it represents the information in inverted tree format. You can see there will be a root directory, then children at one level and grandchildren. So data is organized in this way in hierarchical models. The disadvantage with this hierarchical model is data redundancy, that is duplication of data occurs because of this model. The example hierarchical model is IBM's IMS, that is Information Management System. IMS stands for Information Management System. This is an example for hierarchical model. Likewise, network model. So network model, that is Network Database Management System, is NDBMS. You can see the picture here which represents network model. This uses physical links, that is connection, to relate information. You can see the information about stores, clerks, customers, transactions, items. So there is a relationship, and that relationship is shown via a line between those components. So this is about network model, where you can see physical links to relate the information. So here there are some disadvantages with this model also. that is supports limited data and no guarantee for data. It is very huge. Then advantage is duplicacy is reduced. Example, Fox Pro, DBase are the examples for this network model, and they are examples of database management system, DBMS. These are the older technologies. Then Oracle, you can see here, in Oracle, you can go through textbooks which I have. Oracle Corporation has specially made some material which is present in volume 1, volume 2 for SQL, and pl-sql also volume 1, volume 2. Then Oracle complete reference, Oracle pl-sql programming, Oracle SQL pl-sql by Ivan Beras. Ivan Beras is the author name. You can refer to these textbooks to learn Oracle. Then relational database management system. So we have gone through hierarchical DBMS, network DBMS. Now the relational database management system. The Oracle environment is a you can see the various features. Information is stored in rows and columns format. I have been telling you, in tabular format. The intersection of row and column gives a single value. In Excel sheet, you can see the intersection of row and column SL. So, like that, in that particular cell, you can represent about 4 GB of information in a database. It means in one particular cell, you can store around 4 movies information. That is 4 movies, videos. So of capacity 4 GB, you can store in that cell. So like network model, so there are no physical links. Data redundancy is also reduced. That is, there is no redundancy in RDBMS. Then relations are maintained logically. Then it supports null value. I will explain you this null value once we get into Oracle environment. Null is nothing but some blank, some junk, which represents nothing. And every RDBMS should support this null value. It is a rule. Oracle also supports this null. Then supports integrity constraints. That is some conditions. For example, you have employee data, and over there you are capturing the employee information like employee name, employee date of birth, gender, designation, and so on. Over there, date of birth, suppose you would like to accept the date of birth only in MMDDYY format, then you can mention it as a constraint. Only MMDDYY format data can be stored. Other formats like DD, MMYY, so DDYY, MM, so these formats are not allowed. You can mention these kind of databases. Provides high security. Compared to file storing, this provides high security. Supports unlimited data. Then supports to store any type of information. You can see the various types of information like numerics, character, text, date, time, images, files. So you can store any kind of data in database. Then supports multiple users by multiple platforms. So multi-users can operate this environment simultaneously. Then data manipulation and retrieval is very faster. Then supports error handling. I already gave you an example of error handling. That is by a program is trying to open a file, compose data, save the data. All of a sudden someone deletes the file, then program will not crash. Instead it will display a message that is file is not found in particular location. That is what error handling is. Then supports EF code, control rules. So EF code is a person who has laid some rules for databases. There are 12 rules mentioned by EF God. At least 6 must be satisfied by the databases. Oracle satisfies all the 12 rules, whereas SQL Server may be satisfying around 11 rules. So Oracle is the only database that is satisfying all the 12 rules that were proposed by EF God, a scientist. And here we are going to look into the various versions and various types of RDBMS that are available in market. I have already given you the example. That is examples of database. You can see Oracle. So presently Oracle 11G, 12G are available. So prior to that Oracle 9i, 8i, 7x. So all these are examples of RDBMS. SQL Server, Sybase, Inferdata, DB2, Ingress, MySQL. So all these are examples of RDBMS. Here you can see DBMS, Relational Database Management System and Database Management System. RDBMS is enhanced one, advanced one. DBMS is a older one. So examples for DBMS are MS Access, Fox Pro, Database, Oracle 6 version are examples of DBMS, Database Management System. Object-oriented RDBMS. There are certain databases that could support object-oriented concepts. You might have heard Java programming language, C++ programming language. They are examples of object-oriented programming languages. They are popular in the market. They are widely used in the IT industry. Here we have databases that would support this object-oriented features also. We call them as object-oriented RDBMS. The examples under this object-oriented RDBMS are Oracle 8.0, 8i, 9i, 10G. Likewise Oracle 7 and .NET technology using SQL also supports web development, and 8i, Oracle 8i supports Java software also. So Oracle RDBMS supports Java environment also. 9i version supports advanced topics. Here you can see in the market, it is around the world, 70% of IT industry is using Oracle. Remaining 30% is occupied by these various databases like DB2, SQL Server, Ingress, MySQL, Sybase, Teradata, all those things. Oracle stands top among them. So RDBMS, Relational Database Management System, supports to store, manipulate, retrieve, share data with high security. Background which you should have to learn the Oracle course.